Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I am alone. Today, I'll be discussing the trailer for the upcoming Superman movie, the first movie in the DCU officially starting. Yeah, a lot of fun. Recently, we covered Creature Commandos, the first installment in the DCU, and the first installment in the first chapter of DCU, Gods and Monsters. And now, later this year, the second installment will be the Superman movie, which is starring David Cornsweet as Superman. So this is the official start of the DCU. None, like we're starting off with a new Superman, which is kind of like how the DCEU started, but we are getting a much more faithful Superman than we got previously with Henry Cavill. I feel kind of bad for Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill really loves Superman, and to see him kind of play the not a very good, not a very good version of the character, I think kind of sucks. But yeah, no. Aside from that, uh, there's a lot of things not well in this movie. I feel sad about Henry Cavill. Honestly, I feel like he should be given a chance to play Superman, like a faithful one, or at least you know, at least like giving him like a role in the DCU just to compensate at least like something. Just to compensate for him not being that much of a big player, like and him not being able to play Superman to the extent that he probably wanted to, or the extent that like executives wanted him to, because they wanted the money. But now the DCU is we're getting a new Superman actor. A lot of Snyder fans don't really like that, uh, which uh, yeah, fucking the Snyder cult doesn't like that. Even though fucking DCU, I mean most of DCU was pretty shit. Let's be fucking honest. The DCU was shit because Batman vs Superman was shit. Batman v Superman because it's a court case apparently. Batman v Superman was shit, and that's what really started it. Um. So yeah. That's all I really gotta say before we getting into it. I'm really excited for Superman. I really am. I feel like it's gonna be a big movie for the year. It is sandwiched between a lot of movies. I'm not gonna deny it's sandwiched between some pretty big movies. A week before, I think or maybe yeah, no, like the week before. Uh, Jurassic World Rebirth comes out. And yeah, just the week before Jurassic World Rebirth comes out, and Jurassic World Rebirth, Jurassic World's kind of a big IP. So I don't know how many people like really know that there's a new one coming out, but a new one's coming out, and it's the week before, and then 2 weeks after that there's a new Marvel movie, a new MC movie, The Fantastic Four. So it has some competition up in July when it's releasing. I hope it does well because I don't know how people could. I don't know if having a bomb start off the DCU would be the best case scenario. The usual like the Flash bomb. I think that there's a lot of factors into why the 2023 slate of the DC EU bombed as it did, and why the later movies did. I guess 2021 was mostly because of the of the initiative that HBO Max had, where it put a lot of the movies their day and dates as their theatrical version. So a lot of people just kind of watched them on HBO Max, which I'm kind of sad that they didn't continue doing that, but I kind of get it because it would have driven away from sales of the movie, and they didn't do it for like they only did it for the 2021 slate. They did start it with 2020 with Wonder Woman 1984, which um simultaneous releases. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, I don't remember which one it was, but I know it was a Suicide Squad. Um, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, just like all those movies came out 2021, and they kind of and that's why like for example Wonder Woman and the Suicide Squad. That's why they kind of bombed because they were on HBO Max the same day as as they were theatrically. So people just kind of opted to have it on HBO Max because HBO Max was fucking it was a safer alternative, not cheaper, just safer. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So in 2022, there was only one movie, Black Adam, and that was because nobody fucking cared. And in 2023, failed for many reasons. But now we got a Superman movie. Superman's I think a big enough character that they would want that would warrant people go see the movie in theaters. There's a lot of hype around this movie, so yeah, let's just get straight into it. I kind of mentioned this in the Creature Commandos episode, but I have some ideas as to when this movie should take place. So there's a lot of things going on here. We know that with Creature Commandos and like Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, them being the first movie in the timeline, I feel like is too weird. Since we know Superman is an established character by the time of these of these characters existing. We know that Superman won't be an origin story, but I think that Superman should be a prequel to all of these projects: Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, and Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. I feel like it should be a prequel to all of those. Or at least that the events that were similar enough to those movies, to Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, the events are similar to those that happened in Creature Commandos. At least like a prequel to Creature Commandos. Is what I'm trying to say. Like those are I'm pretty sure what James Gunn is doing. I think I mentioned this Creature Commandos or something like that. Is that the events of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker happened in the DCU, but like there are things about the show that didn't happen, and there's bits and pieces that that haven't happened or didn't happen in DCU. Yeah, fucking hell, that didn't happen in the DCU because it's exclusive to DCU or something like that. It's things like that. So yeah. Anyways, I think Superman should take place before the events of the Suicide Squad, or just Creature Commandos in general. But fucking the Suicide Squad, because I think it makes more sense. DC has always been a place where heroes are kind of established as pretty big characters and just in the public of the in universe public, so having them sort of be already pretty recognizable by the time of the Suicide Squad is, I think, a good choice. And obviously in this movie we see, at least in the trailer, which has we don't get much about the actual movie, but in the trailer we see people we see people really hate Superman, and that's not really a thing that happens later on when Superman's already like being a pretty public figure. Uh, I feel like this will sort of be like the I'll talk about later about the theme. So it will be sort of like the people learning to trust Superman in general. That's what I think is probably what's gonna be his movie. What the movie's gonna be about. Just kind of like trust, hope, like the things Superman embodies. You know that sort of thing. Instead of it being instead of how it's like I guess handled how the DCU handled it, which is just kind of this thing happened. But yeah, I almost swiped on just stop recording, which would have been fucking bad. But yeah, I also we know that I think I mentioned this in the Creature Commandos episode, but we know that Frank Grillo, the guy who portrays fuck uh Rick Flag Senior, we know he's gonna be in this movie in Superman. He looks younger. He's a character. He has like the black hair and everything. So I think this will be a prequel to Creature Commandos and the Suicide Squad and all that. This will be taking place before those movies have happened, and that's like the best case scenario because it lets you have it lets you have that like some freedom to explore what has happened before and what led to these events happening in the first place, and like without having to soft reboot everything. It's like a set point that everything that things will lead to, that we know of, that we know will lead to, and what is happening is that James Gunn is kind of like, it's just kind of like building up to that. I don't know. I think thing is that's what I think is the best case scenario. We don't know if it's set after the Creature Commandos or if it's set before. I think I don't know if it's set anywhere. I haven't seen it. I can just check actually. Is Superman 2025 set after Creature Commandos? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Is okay. Can I please get something? Ask whether it was recurrent viewing. What? Uh. I don't know. I think it says here that Creature Commandos happens before Superman. It's just characters in the same universe, but there is nothing you have to know from Creature Commandos to understand Superman. Okay, so it's set. So Creature Commandos happened. Okay, well, fuck me, I guess. It would have been a lot better. It would have been. I think that this that this I think that this it would have been a lot better if uh if it was set before, because you could have characters pop up here and there that flesh out the world, but also like have Superman like be sort of like have not an origin story, but at least have him see how we got to that point. But having Creature Commandos set before, I don't know. That's a bit of a weird like direction to go in. Speaking of characters, there is a really big amount of characters here. We have Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho is in this movie. Um, Lex Luthor, Supergirl just got confirmed to be in here. Like I said, uh, Rick Vac Senior. Like, there's a lot of characters. So, what I think this is gonna be is that with like we're gonna see, like it's mostly what's gonna be like about the plot. What we're gonna see is Superman being the real hero, and we're gonna see a bunch of different corporations try to make their own heroes, or at least like try to live up to the sort of hopefulness and to the ideals of Superman. But that will obviously fail, kind of tremendously throughout the movie, as we see like a lot of shady things happening with these heroes. Uh, for example, I think it's SAG will probably like sponsor the team that Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific are on, and then they will later make Metamorpho, and then Lex Luthor. We know that there's a character. We know thanks to that photos that there is apparently a character called Ultraman in here. So having him like be an evil Superman made by Lex Luthor, with like a bizarro version, would be interesting to see. Like trying to make trying like to make like a different version of Superman, but then like none of them like live up to Superman's like who Superman is. So instead, so like instead, like we see Superman like teach them about like being a hero and all that. So yeah, I feel like it'll mostly be like the original title for this movie was Superman Legacy. So I think it's mostly gonna be about how Superman leaves a legacy behind on like through the impact he has on the heroes and the people and all that. That's probably what the movie's gonna be mostly about. I feel like they retitled it Superman because Superman Legacy sounds like it's like one of like the last movies. Like it didn't sound like the first movie. It sounded like I don't know, like a movie that is like that was just weird to have as the first movie to be called Superman Legacy. I feel like just naming it Superman is a better choice overall for marketing. It's like this is the Superman movie of like this generation, which is why it's labeled Superman 2025, because there is another Superman movie also called straight up Superman. So yeah, there's not a I had to do some distinction here. I had to do some distinction because yeah, like that happened. So yeah, I think I think it should have been a prequel, and I feel like they have a lot of characters, but like aside from that, I think that I think that they could handle it well. I know James Gunn really knows how to handle a lot of characters in his movies, so I am putting a lot of faith in him to what do you call it? To get this right. So yeah, and I'm expecting him to get it right because he is a big comic book fan. So I would hope that that he knows what he's doing and knows how to adapt these characters in meaningful ways. And speaking of hope, I feel like this movie will have a theme of hope. So obviously Superman embodies hope. The big S is hope. It stands for hope. Blah blah blah. Etc. Etc. We fucking know this. But what we are gonna learn is that like we're gonna see Superman's impact again. Like, impact on people. It's like how like what legacy is gonna leave. We see people like crying out for him for help. We're gonna see we're probably gonna see the impact on like how Superman like the impact Superman has on the people around them and all that. That's probably what we're gonna see in this movie. And honestly, I feel like that's the way you do a Superman movie. Just kind of like, sure, he can grow as a character and all that, but really show his humanity. That's the thing. A lot of people I see like say like, oh, you can't make Superman interesting because he's just super OP. And like, yeah, well, that's the point. He is supposed to be super OP, but we see him. What we see is humanity. We see that he was raised by farmers. So we see like his humanity, and that's something that's a big part of Superman's character, and it's something that I think this movie will highlight a lot. And I'm glad that it's being highlighted because it's something that we haven't seen in a very long time, if at all, with Superman. That like and like to just to dispel the rumor that Superman is a character you can't really write for because he is so powerful. I was like, well, power doesn't really have to do with much. It's just it's just like how he uses it and how he behaves and how he showcases his power. I feel like it's I feel like how the handling this movie is, I think, very good, and I am very excited to see how this movie how this movie goes. I think this is the theme that are going forward in this movie, and I honestly couldn't ask for something better from James Gunn starting off the DCU. But yeah, just I'm excited. I really am. I hope it does not bomb so badly. I want this to succeed. I also want the other products that they have that are a bit like the Authority movie. I want it to succeed. Just having it, like, just seeing that James Gunn can do it and can like bring these obscure characters to life and make them enjoyable. He did it with Peacemaker. I'm not sure if he's gonna be directing the Authority, but he'll definitely be he'll be the Kevin Feige of the DCU. So I could see him. I could see him sort of sort of like taking sort of like giving some nudges as to where they can go. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I hope you all are too. If you don't, if you want to leave any of your thoughts on the trailer and whatever, and honestly any thoughts from the movie that you might have seen, leave in the comments below. All of our socials are in the description, and yeah, no, that's about it. See ya.